Nandeeshwara Hey Nataraja Nandeeshwara Hey Nataraja Nandatmaja Hari Narayana Nandatmaja Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Nandeeshwara Hey Nataraja Nagabharana Namah Shivaya Naada Swaroopa Namo Namo Nagabharana Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Nagabharana Namah Shivaya Naada Swaroopa Namo Namo Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Nandeeshwara Hey Nataraja Nandeeshwara Hey Nataraja Nandatmaja Hari Narayana Narayana Hari Narayana Nagabharana Namah Shivaya Naada Swaroopa Namo Namo Narayana Hari Narayana Nandeeshwara Nandi, which means giving delight or giving joy, is a sacred bull of the Hindu god Shiva, one of the most important Hindu gods. Human life must be properly molded into divinity by nurturing good qualities. Nandi teaches us, seated in front of Shiva, it steadily looks at God. It does not look at the nature. It concentrates its focus entirely on God. How did it deserve such adoration and worship? It is because its vision is fixed on the Lord. Nataraja, every atom in the world is filled with the potential for action, yet it is at peace. Shiva, the principle of infinite peace and bliss, is not inert. It is peaceful yet dancing. Like a Sai student described, dancing is the only art where the dancer cannot be cut off. The dancer cannot be ignored from the dancing. If you see a drawing, if you see hear a poetry, you need not imagine the one who is reciting the poetry or the one who has drawn the painting. But in case of a dancer, you cannot avoid the dancer and see only the dancing. Similarly, the entire creation, which is the act of God, cannot be seen separate from the God, from the universal consciousness. It is all pervading everywhere. Nagabharana. In one of the previous talks, Shiva Shiva Shambho Mahesha Girisha, Nandivahana Nagabhushana, we described that the Vasuki, the serpent, was used for churning the Amritam from the ocean, from the Devas and the Asuras, and both used Vasuki to churn for getting the Amritam. What happens in the process? Vasuki develops an ego that it is indispensable for both Devas and Asuras, and without it, they cannot churn and get the Amrita from the ocean. What happens when one is filled with ego? Vasuki gets injured during the churning process, and then Shiva reveals that it had to suffer because of its ego. However, when it expressed its pain and it's expressed its regret for having developed the ego in front of Shiva, Shiva says, no problem. Now that you have got rid of ego, you will again be used in the churning process. And at that time, you will not be injured. Your energy will be at such a high level that with you, using you for the churning process, Amrita will come. What is the learning from here? A realized person has conquered his ego. Never will he develop an ego. Whereas the worldly persons are victimized by the demands of ego. In such people, the ego gains upper hand. The glory of man of perfection is therefore in transcending the ego. This transcendence is symbolized by Shiva's coiling a serpent around his neck as a decoration for his body. Once you have transcended your ego, God uses you as an ornament. Imagine. What happens when we are involved either at family level or at personal level or at the work or even at the spiritual centers. When we start acting in various capacities, we develop this sense of doership. We develop this sense of ego in whatever actions we are doing. We think that without us, things cannot move, or we think that we are very important. Without us, nothing is going to happen in our family, at our work, at the spiritual center, everywhere in the society. Then, to kill our ego, God has to create circumstances. Automatically, it will be created. Circumstances will be created in such a way that we are bruised, like the Vasuki was injured. We are bruised. When our ego is killed, we are injured. We are hurt. Our feelings are hurt terribly. And the only way, what is the only way out to get out of this hurt feeling? To surrender it to God and to commit to God, commit to Sai, that we will take up any activity without the sense of doership. In whatever capacity in the society we are, we will do kayena vacha, we will take up everything, surrendering our body, mind, intellect, vasanas, everything, thoughts, everything we will surrender to you, and even the action, the organs of action, everything is surrendered to you, and let me work without a sense of doership. If we commit this to God, then, like He blesses Vasuki, we are only when our sense of doership is gone totally. We take up every action as our worship and as a step towards reaching God and merging with God. Only then He blesses us and allows it to carry various actions in the life, in our life, in whatever capacity we are. Namah Shivaya. In Shaiva Siddhanta Shaivism traditions, Namah Shivaya is considered as Panchabhota Bodha Tattva of Lord and His universal oneness of five elements. Na stands for earth, Ma for water, Shi for fire, Va for air, Ya for sky or ether. These five elements are the building blocks of everything in creation. We know that the creation is nothing but the combination of five elements. And Shiva is the master of the five elements. Whereas when we prefix Om Namah Shivaya, the Om is the sound of the universe. So chanting Om Namah Shivaya harmonizes the five elements in the environment. And where there is peace, love and harmony in all the five elements, then there is bliss and joy, not just within you, but also all around you. That is how when Namah Shivaya is chanted, now let us know it is not because of the external environment. Okay. It is because when the Namah Shivaya is chanted soulfully, then there is a total bliss, there is a total peace, because all our five elements are harmonized. That means our body, mind, senses, everything, they all come to rest. Everything work in perfect harmony. There is a perfect union of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, nothing, none of them take an upper hand. All of them come together and there is peace. There is inaction in action. That is why we feel that inexplicable joy and bliss when we chant Namah Shivaya wholeheartedly. Let us know that today. Naada Swaroopa. Brahman is the supreme infinite, the supreme consciousness. The first sound Om emanated from that supreme consciousness, and therefore that Omkara is nothing but Nada Brahman. Brahman as sound. And this is what has created the entire universe. You may recall that Swami told to John Hislop that in form or in sound, in whatever way, if you want to worship apart from my form, because my form is now today, it is there, it will go tomorrow. You worship me as Om. That is, you worship me as Nadam, Nada Swarupa, Nada Brahman. Now we will see, we had not taken up one line, if you remember, Nandatmaja Hari Narayana. Shiva and Vishnu are one and the same entity. They are both formless. They never have a form. Krishna, Rama, all the avatars, incarnations, of course they have come on earth, descended Satyasai. They all have come with a form. Shiva and Narayana essentially are formless. And at that formless supreme state, there is no difference between, there is no formless 1, formless 2, formless 3, formless is formless. So there is a perfect union. There is no difference between all this, difference between Shiva and Narayana. All are created by human beings. So in the Shiva Bhajan, Nandatmaja Hari Narayana is coming up. We know of Shankara Narayana. Lord Shankara Narayana shows that Vishnu and Shiva are manifestations of the same supreme God. Now, in the next some minutes, we will dwell into the deepest significance of Shiva. Shiva means pure auspiciousness. Shiva is that name that denotes a uni-vibrational energy that is non-dual in nature and is free from the three gunas of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. The true meaning of Shiva lies in supreme consciousness, effulgence, light, Shivarasya, effulgence, and an awareness that is unaffected by Maya. Shiva is the one who is non-existent and unbound by any physical form. One of the most revered scholars, Madhusudana Saraswati, has written a commentary on Shiva Mahimna Stotram, and for the phrase in that stotram, Nistraigunye Shivaya Namo Namah, he has commented like this. Shiva transcends the three gunas, so he is called Nirgata Traigunya. What is his nature? What is his state? The supreme consciousness, effulgence, unaffected, untouched by Maya is what he is. Shruti says, Shivam Advaitam Chaturtam manyante, that pure, auspicious essence that is free of the three gunas, which is non-dual, called the fourth, chaturtham. What is the fourth state of consciousness? Absolute state is Turiyam. The fourth, how to even meditate on this fourth state of consciousness. It is not conscious of the internal world, nor conscious of the external world, nor conscious of both the worlds, nor dense with consciousness, nor simple consciousness, nor unconsciousness, which is unseen, actionless, incomprehensible, unthinkable, indescribable, whose proof consists in the identity of the self, in which all phenomena come to a cessation, and which is unchanging, auspicious, and non-dual. That is the self. That is to be known. That is the fourth, and that is Shiva. In the Chidambaram temple, just to echo the non-dual essence of Shiva, the Chidambara Rahasya unfolds when the priests remove the curtain behind the Nataraja Vigraha. Once the curtain is removed, you will see only the hanging garland of Bilvapatra and nothing else. Or we may say, once the curtain is removed, only you are there and nothing else is there. The meaning is that once the screen of Maya shielding our eyes is removed, you experience your own true state. You realize true you as true self. This is the significance of Shiva, who is verily the self consciousness, Brahman, beyond form. Shiva Rahasya is the most subtlest, most profound treatise on Shiva. Sage Durvasa, along with three more sages, approach Shiva with various questions on how to go beyond the samsara and how to be in union with God. Verse 6 and 7 describe Shiva. Carefully listen to this description of non-dual essence, Shiva. For a true sadhaka, these meditation on the description of these two verses is enough to attain samadhi. Not exaggerating. How Shiva is described? Moved by their earnest devotion, the great ever-living ocean of life sent forth a dazzling stream of light, like a redeeming river of compassion, whereby the Lord of mercy came down into the world. Dazzling stream of light. A whirling glow of silver ported the sky, and lo, a mighty orb of light was descended from the highest height. A light so bright no mortal had ever seen before. Even those that saw it from afar off were perplexed. What is Shiva? Just that light. All the light you can imagine at your human level is not Shiva. The highest light you can imagine is sunshine. And that also is the source of the sunshine, the source of the sun is Shiva. So his light, the light Shiva has to be more, something more vast than the sunshine, the sunlight. When you see the sunlight, you see the earth also. You imagine and you see the sunlight falling on earth, on various objects. Now imagine Shiva. There is no sun, there is no moon, there are no stars, there is no sky, there is no earth, there are no objects, there is no you, there is no me, only the light. There is no shape of the light as rectangular or spherical or anything. It is all just meditation on this Shiva, the light is enough. Further, you may say, oh, but the earth is there, the creation is there. Addressing to that in the same Shiva Rahasya in chapter 4, Shiva is described thus. I am Shiva, the stillness she, whereof all movement Va is born. As water, fire, and the sun at once move and are still, so I, the great life, both move and stand still. Chapter 7, Shiva says, for this reason, the wise ones have called him Shiva, which means that in whom everything rests, she, and by whose power everything moves, Va. I am that Shiva, the original ever-living one, the unseen and uncreating, before everything, existing before everything. Shiva is the combination of the two syllables Shi and Va. This is covered in the Isha Upanishad, this aspect of Brahman, still as well as moving. What is that? If a yogi reaches the absolute state and exists as Shiva, the light supreme consciousness, then for that yogi, Shiva is just Shi, stillness. The light is stilled. There is no space vacant where the light can move. It is stilled. However, till you reach that Nirvikalpa Samadhi and exist as an Avadhuta or a Videha Mukta, when you are in the creation doing your duty, you realize that the entire, all that is moving, if you retrace their origin, they all originate from the five elements. Five elements originate from Shiva. So all pervading. Isha Vasyamidam Sarva. At absolute state, he is still, no creation. Not even Nada Swaroopa, not even Omkaram. But when till the time one is aware of the creation, then he is this entire moving creation, Jagat. So the sadhakas, the aspirants have to move from this all-pervading moving aspect of Shiva, Va, to the stilled light absolute Shiva, and just end there and never come down. Swami describes in one of his writings, discourses, how Shiva describes about himself to Parvati. Swami writes, Swami says, Shiva clarified to Parvati that God has no name and form. He is changeless. He is neither birth nor death, neither beginning nor end. He is eternal and the embodiment of Atman, Atma Swaroopa. The formless God manifests with a particular form and name as per the wishes of the devotees to fulfill their aspirations. It is the devotees who attribute some names, forms, and attributes to God, and when God descends in form, they feel satisfied. Or even Shiva, the formless, when he is worshipped with form, Nandivahana, Nagabharana, okay, all that, they feel satisfied. All names, Swami is telling, all names and forms are Anityam and Asatyam. The only eternal and true form of God is self-consciousness, Brahman. When the formless God assumes a form, it is natural for human beings to meditate and worship that form. People derive great satisfaction and experience bliss by doing so. It is all right as long as that form remains. Once that divine form ceases to exist, then what will happen to those devotees who have been only focusing on the form and not reached to the essence, Tattva? The happiness and the bliss derived from the worship of a particular form of God are born only out of your illusion. This Swami with form is teaching us. And Sakshat, when he has come in form as Satya Sai, he is teaching us this. What more we want to learn from the God incarnate as Avatar? Go beyond the form. Realize the Tattvam. Realize the true essence, Brahman. And then worship the form. How? In your bliss that, oh, you the Brahman have come in form. Be ever aware that the form you worship, Rama, Krishna, Sai, be ever aware of their essence as Brahman, Parabrahma, Swaroopa. And then in with that awareness, worship them. Not to lose sight of their essence and to be only glued to their form. The form go. Rama came, Rama went. Krishna came, Krishna went. Swami came, Swami went. After that, what happens? Same side devotees are clinging to various other forms without getting into detail. This is Shivaratri Discourse 2009. He stands at the Shiva temple last week and sees the lingam. Nothing else but consciousness was there. Even when the site was Shivalingam. On the Shivalingam, Swami in another Shivaratri discourse says, Just as Om is the sound symbol of God, the Linga is the form symbol of the or the visible symbol of God. The most meaningful, simplest, and the least endowed with the appendages of attributes, no attributes at all. That is why he poured from the temple at Bhiwadi once that Shivalingam is closest to the essence Brahman in the sense that it is colorless, it is attributeless, no eyes, no nose, nothing. So you are cut off from all imaginations of any form when you focus on the lingam. And there are no forms. It is a formless form. And once you keep on focusing on the formless form, linga, don't attribute various descriptions of physical Shiva to that. Once you keep focusing on the Shiva Lingam, one day will come when, like that spark, you will go beyond the thought of the Shiva Lingam, and there immediately it is like Omkaram is the next immediate sound of Parabrahman. Shiva Lingam is the next immediate form which can be worshipped of the same essence Brahman. Swami says, and that linga in which the Jagat attains emergence. I'll go back to one few of his talks where he's described about Lokanatha Mudaliyar, the one who made the Gindi temple in Chennai. He has revealed, or he has read in one of the Kasturi's books or somewhere, authenticated, when the ground, the land was digged for laying the foundation, only the bottom portion of Shivalingam, the base portions, many were found. The linga was not found. And Mudaliyar asks Swami, what is the significance? Swami says, it is all within me. That is, it is all within the supreme consciousness, Brahman, the essence of Shiva. And to reveal the significance, not for a miracle, to reveal the innermost significance, Swami is to create Shivalingam. We go only by the miracle. We shed tears and we sing in ecstasy, Lingodbhavakara. The essence is, it is to reveal to the mankind that the entire Jagat, Swami told, is within the Lingam, merges in the Lingam. And the Lingam is within the source. We come to an end with the following beautiful summary of Shiva Tattva by the sage from the Ananda Kutir. The devotees of Lord Shiva get strength to resist the temptation of the world and of Indra through his tapas and austerity. Such a devotee does not care at all at the celestial pleasures offered even by Indra. He is quite contented with the supreme bliss attained through union with Lord Shiva. When the sadhaka does rigorous austerities and practices concentration, he gets several powers. He never even bothers about such powers and marches directly to the goal. The goal is what? The Shiva Pada, or the immortal seat of eternal bliss. He who yields to any other thing except the Shivapada gets a downfall. Like Vishwamitra had a downfall. Sage Tirumular says, abandon pride of learning, introspect, look within, you will be firmly established in Shiva. Nothing will shake you. You will be freed from the transmigration of births and deaths. Moksha is the attainment of Shiva Ananda. He who attains moksha will attain supreme knowledge of Shiva. He who gets established in Shiva Ananda will attain knowledge and moksha. Lord Shiva shows the path which leads on to moksha to the aspirant who is endowed with dispassion, non-attachment, renunciation, and who praises him always and performs regular worship, highest worship, meditation on the light, Shiva. Dear all, this world, this samsara, is ever pulling us down, always tempting and enticing our ego to take an upper form, upper role. The samsara or this world entices us with various powers, positions, attractions, and associations. It is not advised here to be totally away from all these things. But what is most important is taking up all these things in the world without any ego, without any sense of doership. Without any pride, and with love and with selflessness. Even in ashram, even in spiritual organizations, even in places of worship, when as an ashramite, as an office bearer of a kendra, of an ashrama, or a spiritual center, when we take up a role which God has bestowed on us, why God has given us that role? Not for performing, not for proving our caliber or our capability. God gives us various roles, in various capacities, so as to draw ourselves near Him with absolute egolessness, and while and in performing the given role, we take this as a unique opportunity to go nearer and nearer and nearer to God. When we will merge with God, that is, He has to decide that particular moment, that in that particular birth. We are not aware of that. Any role performed, taken up by us, if it is not completely done without ego, and which does not make us realize within that we are nearing inch by inch to God, then it is a waste. It's a total waste. Even if the whole world crowns you that you are the best in the world, it's a total waste. If anything taken up by us is filling up with ego and sense of pride. Only one out of a lakh or a million would resist all these things and stay focused on the only one purpose of birth, to merge with Shiva and exist as Shiva the light. And that one in a million would surely merge with Shiva this birth, not next birth. Am I that one in a million? That is a question which we have to ask ourselves in the depth of silence, meditating on Shiva, the Supreme Light. The only purpose of the birth is to go beyond all forms, including our forms. To go beyond this duality, difference between ourselves and God or self. To transcend the subtlest of the ego, avidya, ignorance. Before that, we would have surely transcended our individual ego, raga, dvesha, asmita, extra, vasanas. Very important, vasanas. All the ego at human level should have gone. Then the subtlest ego should leave us, the avidya, ignorance of our true nature. And then only we go and merge with the light, as described in verse 6 and 7 of the chapter 1 of the Shiva Rahasya. Dazzling light, which cannot be imagined by any human faculty, not even by Durvasa, not even by sages. That supernal light, where no creation, no relevance of creation is there. We have to go and merge as that light. What is that supreme merger mean? What does that mean? We do not crop up from that light in our ego, with Jiva is equal to ego, and look at the light as Shiva. We have become that light, that Shiva. This is the only purpose why we are born. If we think we have any other role to play in the world, it is a colossal misapprehension. We have nothing to do except to meditate, 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 to merge with the Supreme Source, the light. So, if we are very clear about that, the meditation is not for half an hour or 15 minutes, it's a 24-hour process. All the worldly actions get done in our meditative state. We never lose focus on our goal, Shiva Pada, Shiva Ananda, emergence. All the activities taken up in that meditative state will get sanctified, will be filled with love, Ananda, will never have the taint of ego, because it is taken up by us while meditating on that Supreme Source. It is this at that this loftiest state that the body sat and sang Nandeshwara. And from within, voiceless voice asked, what more is required? What more is required? Can there be anything more worthwhile to attain than this? Hari Om Tat Sat.